Hi, this is Chris Simon,
Tracy Royce,
Luke Rodvold,
and this is the Red Room. Tracy, Luke, and I jump on every week to talk about real estate, acquisition,
a lot of fix and flip,
and design,
dispositions,
Airbnbs,
financial independence, retire early.
We always have a new guest every single week.
We're going to have a lot of fun, all right?
So if you're interested in any or all of those, make sure to join us on the Red Room podcast.
And subscribe to the Red Room.
Share it with your friends or join us on the Phoenix RIA Facebook. That still catches me off guard every single time.
I know. Great intro. Give me something to strike.
So, thanks for joining us on another Red Room for the Phoenix RIA. We got Steve Valentine on. I usually jump into the market forecast, what we're seeing and what we're not seeing. And right now, I don't know. I don't know. I got no answer for you. Just like Chris is splish. Just go with that. Normally, we would have seen we got the 10-year down below 4% on Friday. It was like 3.93. Normally, when we wake up on a Monday morning after a conflict, like the 10-year takes a quarter point dive because everybody's running from stocks and everybody's searching for the safe haven, which didn't happen, number one. And I think that didn't happen, number two, is because over the same weekend, we saw an 8% increase in oil. And as we all know, oil is inflationary for food, transportation, all the different stuff. So it was I was thinking we're going to wake up and see a 3.75 on the 10-year, seeing, mortgage rates at 5.65. Didn't happen. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. And then we also just saw it rip from 3.93 to 4.1 in a day. So, I mean, the 6% mortgage rates are probably gone for the short term. How will that affect the spring market? You're still only talking about, 150 basis points, nothing crazy. So, shouldn't be too bad. It is March. Spring training's in the air, and that's kind of
and the traffic.
Yeah, and the traffic, right?
Yeah.
Every golfer in
spring training stadiums
is in town. So cool. You've been on here before, Steve, and you're always kind of inspiring. Always got kind of cutting edge stuff going on. So tell us what you're doing now.
Not paying attention to any industry noise, I can tell you that much. There's a lot out there.
Smart.
It's interesting. I was preparing to speak tomorrow and just thinking about some things, and it's fascinating. 27 years in this business, my parents doing it, me doing it, and the industry noise has never made a difference in our success. It's always been pivoting with where things are going and trying to see how to, I guess, more creatively solve for people in the noise right now. And that's really what we're focused on is we're more strategically helping see what's possible through real estate rather than just doing the typical sales perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, Tracy?
Hey, Steve. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey, guys.
There she is. There she is.
Love seeing you guys. This is awesome.
Heck, you as well.
So what does that look like? So obviously the normal sales process, you're out there getting leads, converting, getting houses sold. So now more focused on investment, or what does that look like?
It's more focused on cutting out the noise from the consumer, and what we've gone through and kind of the process with our clients is we figured out how to apply the 1,000 flips that we've bought and the rental properties and the wealth that we've built and the problems that we've seen, and how do you equate that to the consumer? And it's really going through and figuring out the process now of taking somebody through strategy rather than listing appointments. Somebody calls, says they want to sell their house. It's not about them selling the house. It's where they want to get to when they sell the house, right? So it comes back to more of a financial decision than it is an emotional decision. And as a real estate agent for so long, we go in the door and we throw up on them. Here's all I do, and here's how I'm known, and all the pieces, rather than I have an interview process to walk them through what their past experience has been in real estate, what the property is going through, what their financials are right now, getting a little personal into some things because I need to know in order to create the strategy. So what's different about now is that we don't sell anything. We go in and we give them options, and some options are left to the side, right? We sell wraps. We kind of determine that interview process. Is there something better for them? And are they capable of understanding it and financially going through that process, right? So when we get into creative stuff. But what that's done in our business is allows to become master of questions and active listening for what they're truly trying to solve for. And then we get to take the investment principles and go, is this a traditional sale? Or do we take down the road of seller carry because it's going to create income for the future? Or does it go of, do we send it to Jack and do we wholesale this and we connect the dots because they need it quicker? Or do they want the process of keeping the house as a rental because now they've explored all those options? And do they know how to get from point A to point B without selling the house? Or do you have to, what does it look like and how do we get them there?
So do you ever talk yourself out of a sale? So and then how does that look, and how do you like? I mean, I assume you're talking yourself out of a sale, but getting obviously future sales if you do what's right with the seller, right?
Yeah, it's more about showing people what's truly possible because I believe like in the real estate space, let's take the space we all operate in. Agents are extremely educated in what's possible in investing.
Yeah.
Right? So they're scared of it. They want to do it. They see other people doing it, but they feel that there's this dividing line of I can't do real estate and be an investor. And the reality learn the investment principles, you're able to apply that to your regular clients' lives because there's more optionality than just selling, right? So when I can come in, and I'll give you a great example recently of how we apply the investment principles, the hard money connections, and we apply it to real life, right? Which is I had a family recently going through a really hard time, lost their business, husband in rehab, they're going through foreclosure. They've already been two hard money lenders trying to salvage this thing, and it's not getting better because there's no long term solution for them. So when I get the call, it's going through and going, okay, we have X amount of equity. We've got a good property. Do you guys want? Yes, we'd really like to stay and raise our son here. We'd rather not move,
Right.
but if we have to, we will. And is there a path for you guys to buy the house back? Like completely walking them through is we've got a pause in life right now. And so I designed the strategy for them to buy the house out of foreclosure from them with enough equity that they prepaid a year's lease in advance. And they have the ability to buy the house back after 2 years for an increased price that we all agreed upon for the strategy. They also were given the option that if a year in to the husband's recovery and what they're doing, if they decide they want to move and sell, they can sell, pay the listing, and pay the price that we agreed to and keep the upside. Now, it's going to be a taxable event for them when it comes down to business profit, and they understand that, but it's an option. So they can either go through the process of buying the house back or they can sell the house and keep the equity. But the good news is they get to stay there and they have a chance. Most people go in and there's not a chance or an option to come out of what they've been through. And I believe it comes from the identity that I guess I've created over the years. I'm super vulnerable to be personal. Chris, you asked, like, am I walking away from sales? Yes, because it's really a process of elimination with people as to whether or not we have an exchange of energy and can we solve the
Yeah.
problem together. And that's where my business runs right now.
That's
I,
awesome.
I, I think that's amazing, Steve, because it's so cool to see, you be able to take that creativity and bring it to the table every single time. Where, at most, like you're saying, most agents or most even, investors, they usually give that one option. They give the one option and then it's off the table and that's it. So, I mean, I think you're really setting yourself apart by being able to go in, sit down at the kitchen table with them and say, listen, I've got A, B, and C, and it's not salesy. It's exactly you being you and being, transparent and being, like you said, vulnerable to what they need. It's just, uh, there needs to be more of that. There needs to be a lot more of that because it's really cool.
Well, and to that point, like here's everybody's question is, well, what did you make doing that? Right? So
Right.
let's take commissions and let's just look at income and look at the problem. And I always like to tell people the bigger the problem or obstacle you can remove, the more income you earn, that people are willing
Yeah.
some of their equity to solve the problem. So in this case, I didn't get paid commissions. I got paid income to solve the problem throughout it. It was determined in commission because that's how we did it.
Yeah.
There was a price tag to remove the obstacle. I said, look, I can solve this for you by borrowing the money, buying the house, and do this. The price tag is going to be X of your equity to do
Yeah.
that. And it's going to be X. So at the end of 2 years, all goes well. Whether I sell it, get the house back, there's about $160,000 worth of income that I
Yep.
solved the problem. They had equity to utilize to solve the problem. They chose to spend that money to solve the problem because nobody else could do it, and that was the
Right.
price tag of the obstacle.
Steve, I'd be really interested in knowing how, or if you're seeing some sort of theme to the types of problems that people are bringing to you, because you have this like multi-generational experience. You and your wife have done a ton of flips, ton of renovations. So you're the problem solver. I've been there. I've seen this so many times type and have this menu of options. Are you seeing anything repetitively that for other people that maybe don't see in the distress market? Are you seeing any themes to what sellers are looking for right now?
Repetitively, I think my house is worth what it was in 21, and
Yeah.
I'm out to be upside down on my mortgage payments because my agent told me to date marry the house, and now I'm stuck with this ugly bitch.
Yeah.
And they
Do
got
anything.
their commission and they just repeated that online until people,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. So it's an unfortunate part of the process, but it goes back to, I guess, uneducated how to solve. Like, let's be honest and transparent. Any agent that's been in the business in the last 5 years is struggling in the conversation between what happened in NAR, what happened in our industry, and then the market is just weird. Like Chris started out just completely speechless. If Chris is speechless after, right? We're all just kind of navigating new waters because what we
yeah,
expected to happen is not happening. And so to answer your question, Tracy, most people are coming in with, I need X amount in order to execute this in this way.
Yeah.
mm,
And the only way that we can now combat that is to have some financial knowledge to
yeah,
show them what's possible, right? It's the amount of money they need to accomplish the goal. But everybody, the typical customer comes in with Zillow says this, and they've spent all the equity by the time you get to the door, rather than saying, hey, the consumer, if they would be honest about this is what we're trying to accomplish, this is the money we need to, how do we get here? Then reverse engineer what's happening. So most people are in financial problems right now, Tracy. They either can't afford a bad rate, and some of them are just trying to determine whether or not it's still a good time to buy. Should I sell what I have?
Yeah.
Those are kind of the nap pieces right now. And I think a lot of the consumers are realizing like the rates aren't going much, and this is where we are.
yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot more nuanced conversation than here's a listing agreement, sign this, and I can be a one-trick pony and put you in this box. And
Yeah.
if you don't fit squarely in this box, or and I'm not in the agency world as much, but I would imagine that you see agents that are like, fine, we'll go at your price, get them under contract, and then it just sits there to no one's
Yeah.
service for months and months, and then it causes even more confusion.
Well, it's confusion, it's reputation, and then again, it's another ding on the real estate industry because somebody decided to put something on at a higher price, it doesn't sell. Now that
I knew
person
it wouldn't.
has disdain for them. And it goes back to the process, Tracy, of in my world after 27 years, I guess I've earned the right and built the right to go through an interview process with clients
Mm,
rather than what so many agents are taught is like get in there, do your listing presentation, get the document signed, and then work it out from there. I'm like, no, I want to set all the expectations up front before we sign this contract because I want to know what I get when I have to live with you. And I know, I want you to know what you're getting out of this. And I do think that that is the hardest thing for agents to do these days is to walk away
mm,
from an
Yeah.
um uneducated consumer that they're just going to fight tooth and nail with.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple questions. How many videos on Instagram did we see marry the house and date the rate?
No joke.
Endlessly. That was the commercial for years. Yep.
And then last question is like, how many, I mean, from you guys, you three professionals, how many people in the, let's just say there's 50,000 agents. I think it's a ballpark number. I don't know what it is. It went all the way to 80. I think it dropped down to the 40s. I don't know. Everybody got out there for a minute. How many could actually structure what Steve does?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Out of the 50,000?
0.5%, maybe.
1%?
Yeah. I was going to say maybe 1 to 2%.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's so difficult, and we've had this conversation before, is that, and Steve, you already hit on it from 2021, is like, for the past 5 years, you've had these people thinking that, you had these sellers thinking that they're going to be able to get out of this, the interest rate that they're in. And with it not happening, I think that you're finally having a point where people are they feel stuck, they feel stuck and they feel like there's nothing they can do. I had an article sent to me last week that said that why won't my house sell was the most Googled it's ever been in the history. And this was this past year. And so it's like, it is, you just have people that are like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in this high interest rate right now. I'm stuck with this house. And I mean, as we know, people want to make a move. I think the average is every 5 years, isn't it? That people buy, that they switch your house. So, I mean, we're at that timeline right now from when we were at a really high market in 2021. And so I think that's just why you have so many unsettled sellers right now, and buyers don't know what to do. I mean, flipping's not easy right now because nothing's moving, So it makes for a very strange market. But we just keep pressing forward, right? That's what we got to do.
Well, I don't think that's not what Steve's saying. He's like, I'm not pressing forward. I'm switching gears.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is the thing. I mean, from the real estate perspective, I mean, I haven't publicly announced this in a whole lot of places, but in December we retired my wife. We shut down the construction company 100%. We're out.
Okay.
Right? And not from a standpoint of it just didn't make sense. One, my contractor, she's been doing it for a decade. She did it to be in and out of kids. The kids are 21 and 23. And I'm looking at her going, do you still want to do this? She's like, not really. I'm like, cool, you're fired. Let's change life, change directions. I mean, it's been the best thing for our marriage without a doubt, because we're not fighting over numbers and budgets and when this house is going to be done. But there came a time that, Luke, you said it, flips they're tight. You have to have tight systems. You have to have tight materials. And when Wendy ventured over into doing a lot of retail renovation for clients and then back and forth with flips, the business model wasn't working. It was like, you know what? I think, we're going to go back and do this a little differently because of cost of construction and some of the other things. So it's a time to pick. And I believe that there's more people out there that probably have better or cheaper ways to flip houses than we did, because it was system built on a business, which means you have to buy deeper. So we'll let everybody else do it and we'll just connect the dots. But Chris, the evolution, in this is two things. On what Luke just said, where clients feel stuck, I think part of it goes back before they bought that house. And this is one of my main goals that I'm working on with my clients, is that I believe clients should have a journey in real estate, right? They know where they're going, like the next house. So a lot of times we meet with our first time home buyers, they're investors, and they're treated like investors from the standpoint of, hey, this is a financial asset. This is part of your journey at age 25. And if we play the game right, this is what it can look like at 50. So we're going to come back and this when you're ready. And real estate becomes a journey, and it's a financial decision rather than emotional decisions. And a lot of times the agents jump into the emotion because they don't know the financial part of it, because they don't own real estate. They don't own rental properties, and they haven't been overeducated or exposed to what's possible. I mean, You guys, Chris and Tracy, I mean, you guys know that I'm third generation in this, and my dad spent a lot of time in this space, so I was definitely overexposed to it.
Mm.
But even after being exposed to it for 15 years, it wasn't until my dad died that I was like, oh, this is how it works, and I can make it better.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And
Well,
I
I
think
think
that's
He's struggling too. So hopefully he doesn't have to wait till I kick it.
Jack's a good kid. I love working with Jack.
wait till he hears that when he listens to this after the
Yeah,
fact.
exactly.
Well, Steve, I'd love to circle back to something that you said earlier that you've
Yeah.
touched upon, which is people's journey through real estate, and then also your journey not only through real estate, but you've been open about your personal growth journey on Instagram. And I think that, regardless of what the market is doing, there's always people that are going to need help. But when the market is going up and up and up and up and no one can do any wrong, it's easy for people to just ignore whatever their baseline financials are. However, you said something in such a way that I think that is worth repeating, which is I have earned the right to have these sort of conversations with people. And I found, like, when you're belly to belly with a seller and they're in distress, it's so much better to listen to them. There's a lot of nuance with those conversations, and then have the really honest, frank, transparent breakdown of, listen, here's your options. They might not be the best.
Yeah.
It might not be exactly what you wanted, but here's what we can do. And I find oftentimes sellers are so relieved just to kind of be able to off gas that stress that they've had and find someone that is willing, able, educated, trustworthy, and transparent with them to say, we're going to get through this together. So I think that even though it might not be as apparent as it was during the crash, that there is distress in the market, you're seeing that firsthand. And I would imagine you tell me, do you think that we're going to have more sellers that are in the position to need your help?
I think there's always, I think no matter what the market is, those questions, if we take away, so this is my best line, right? I no longer sell, I serve and solve,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you can serve, and this is where it comes from, if you can build enough rapport and then go through relationship to determine whether or not you want to work with this person, not for this person. I hope everybody catches that. Something I learned from my dad. I will work with you, I will not work for you. I don't care what the contract says. This is a team effort. You need to keep the house clean and I need to expose it. And we need
Yeah.
to have conversations to work through this, and we have to work together to get it done. I can't fight with you for the next 8 weeks.
Mm.
And so when you start to get to that point in the conversations, it actually leads from, do people know you for who you are or what you do?
Mm.
So when I say that I've earned the right to have that conversation, it's because I did the opposite of what my dad did. My dad said to separate life from business and how you expose it. And I believe that my life experiences allow better guidance. And man, have I effed up some stuff in life, like all the way through, whether it be my real estate business or my personal business, which allows me to empathize and connect and support people where they are rather than just kind of like bleed over what they just said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? A lot of people just glass over. And do you guys ever find when you're having conversations, people, the amount of active listening that actually happens is very little?
Mm.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the active listening in this is where our pain point and what is really happening. And that only comes from real conversations. It's not coming from a listing presentation.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we get to know the person and figure out where their pain points are and how we help them solve, that's actually where the income comes from in guiding them through that.
Mhm.
I like that.
What about the agents that are open to this? So I think we all, maybe, or at least Luke and I were like 1%. Maybe they're agents that don't have two generations behind them of real estate exposure, or maybe they are open to the investing side but haven't had education. What are a couple of steps that or resources that you can guide people to say, like, listen, if you're willing and able to have these extra tools in your tool belt as an agent, here's the first couple steps that you should take?
The first step is to know that you don't have all the answers and you never will. And collaboration is very, very important if you're truly
Yeah.
going to serve people.
Oh,
We cannot, real estate agents, be everything for everybody, but we do know somebody that can solve any problem. And that's where, you know, my business evolves from, is that, hey, I want to meet with everybody that comes in to see where they solve for, but I may not be the right agent or the right fit for them. And then I will point them in the right direction. Because a lot of times as real estate agents, we want to be everything. Oh, let me check on that for you. Rather than saying,
Yeah,
hey, you know,
exactly.
I can partner with this guy and he can come in and help us guide us through this. I haven't been through this. People are so reluctant to say that, but they're just as reluctant to say, I have a partner that I'm going to call in and I'm going to pay them from my commission as a referral fee to help guide through this. And we're going to make sure that you're really taken care of. So it's one of the things that I've developed. People can't grasp it, but I have a dozen agents that when they get into something that's not in their wheelhouse, they call, they're like, hey, I need a strategy session. Can you do a Zoom call with my client? Here's the referral fee. And then I walk through with our clients. Hey, here's your options. Your agent's great. Like, let me know if I can help you execute on anything, and peace out. Right? Whether that's to buy the house, getting them to understand the difference between putting it on the market and selling it as is. Sometimes that conversation coming from somebody else can just add a little tipping point. One, that you're smart enough that you have experts in your corner, and two, you're smart enough to say, I don't know enough about this, but I want to help you solve the problem. Right. And I've done it myself early on in my career. Like, I'm just going to try this. And then you screw it up
Yeah,
for yourself, client. And you're like, man, if I would have gotten somebody else involved and collaborated with somebody, so I really
yeah.
earned and learned the process, I'd be so much further ahead.
Mm.
I
So,
think a good. Oh, sorry.
no,
Go for
Luke.
it. Oh, so I think a good way to kind of put it too, you know, even just from someone like you know, like us, Tracy, right? Like I think of the position that I'm in, and I mean, if I have a lead that comes through, you know, and let's just say it's not really in my wheelhouse, right? I know what to do with the lead up to the point of like, okay, well, you know what, now like a property that I'm not super, you know, I don't know the area super well. Maybe it's above my price point that I stick with. That's where exactly what you're saying, Steve. Like, I have no problem calling Chris and being like, all right, Chris, they want $4 million for this thing. I'm not used to something like this big, you know. I'm not gonna act. I'm not gonna sit there and act to the seller like I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna bring in Chris and be like, hey, this is gonna be the guy that you're gonna want to talk to, you know. And
Mhm.
so it is. I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's nice having those people in those corners, and I think again, you have to put yourself out there at times though to be able to make those connections though, right? Like, because they don't just come out of nowhere. You don't, you know, it's not
Mhm.
like you just sit in your office and you're just gonna these connections are gonna come to you. I think that you know, obviously the longer you've been in the industry, the more people you're gonna meet and the more, you know, the more you're gonna have under your belt for meeting these people. But I mean, I think if you are able to put yourself out there, because I know it's not easy for everybody to do that, you know, you go make the connections with people like Chris, with people like you, Steve. You know, it at
Mhm.
least is going to allow you and help you to, when you are in those kind of tough positions or scenarios where you don't necessarily know what to do, to at least give them a call and say, hey, I need
Yeah,
help with this.
absolutely. Tracy, I want to go back and answer that question. Like, where are the small things that agents can start with? One, just basic investment principles. You know, go to Chris' event, RIA, like the stuff that Chris talks about, the stuff on my Instagram, the small things, right? Like, what's a cap rate? Do you understand
Yeah.
cash on return? Do you know what houses are actually renting for?
Mhm.
Right? Having conversations with people around the space and being curious. Like when I tell people to understand investing, be a 4-year old. Just
Mhm.
ask why. Why did you do it that way? Why is it done this way? Because once you start to see it, you can start to unfold it. And agents will, for the lack of transactions they're doing, it's interesting how here's probably the best piece of advice. If agents would get up every morning and look in the mirror and realize like the most important person client is standing in the mirror, I need to start there because the more that guy knows, the better off I am for my clients and value proposition. Because I can go out, I did it. When I learned from my dad when he passed, like I started buying flips and doing things and buying rentals and going, nope, don't do it that way. I'm way better for my clients because of what I experienced rather than sharing through some YouTube video that I saw yesterday going, you should do it this way, but we've never done it that way. It's also simple language programming. You see, I speak tomorrow, and my topic is never buy a lead again, right? We don't buy leads, we invest in connections in order to build relationships. And when you can change what I buy in versus what you're investing in, you now are looking for the return on investment in those connections, right? And there's two types of returns in our relationships in our business. There's return on life and there's return on investment. And both of them are equally as important. And if we start to understand the language programming of investing, right? We have three things: time, talent, and treasure. And if you understand where you're investing those principles, you will start to see where real estate and finances come into play on the investment side, because everything changes in that language, right? When I go and do something with my kids, like our memory trips, it's an investment, but the expected is return on life, not a return on money, right? So those are some of the small things. The other thing is, I always like to tell people, hey, you may not have the money today. Go order $500,000 of play money on Amazon, put it on your desk and go, okay, I have $500,000 to buy my first rental property. How would you do it? You start looking at the wholesale website, start practicing, start running numbers. Most people won't do it until there's something in front of them. Rather than scheduling an appointment with themselves weekly to go look at a wholesale, go run the numbers, and then follow it for 6 months and go, what happened? Right? Have the ability to call an investor and go, hey, can I buy you coffee, or can I pay you to show me what you did on this? Most people are not willing to invest for somebody else's time. You guys have all gotten these calls and DMs. Hey, can I pick your brain? Right?
That's what Flip School's for.
Daily.
Right, exactly.
Daily. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
There's no, when people are not willing to provide any type of value, they have to look themselves in the mirror and understand that that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, people are busy. What we do on a daily basis. When you get those messages, exactly like you just said, Steve. Oh, can you? I once had somebody ask me to drive an hour and a half to them. He said he'd buy me coffee, but he said he wanted to sit down for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want me to drive an hour and a half to you? So I'm like, okay, nope, no, I'm sorry, man.
So your time is worth $5. Yeah, not even.
yeah.
Yeah, for a cup of coffee, it's unreal. Yep.
It is.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
So I think you said the answer to this question, but I was, as I was listening, so you're not necessarily buying leads anymore. You're just investing your time into more connections with real estate agents, right? Is that the
Correct? Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. The goal is to take. Here's where I'm at in my career, and I think any agent can do this if they started off this way, is to start having more quality relationships. Actually, I talked about this earlier. I'm like, I bet you your CRM looks like half the hoarder houses we go to. Here, it's stacked over here. I might come back for that down the road. It might buy a house. I don't know. And you just have to know, which means you have all this crap out of it. And I don't like to consider my database. I want to consider it community, because I believe if I can share more with people and what's going on in life and the day-to-day things that we're doing, the more they know what we do and the more they know how we do it, which is more of a shareable event for them than it just is, hey, look at the house that I sold last week.
Yeah. Well, what's the best way for people to contact you if they want to, help join your network?
Well, pick your brain.
Instagram is, yeah, pick my brain. Actually,
guys, I hate that phrase so much. It annoys me so badly.
it will be, actually, I'm really excited to do this, and it's the first time. It's not all my Instagram yet, but it should be in the next couple of days. Is that I decided through all the things that I've been doing and all the things that I've experienced is, how do I help more real estate agents cross this threshold? And it's not through a course, right? What I've experienced is through a journey. It's a lot of different things. And so in a couple of weeks, every Wednesday, it's an hour call. And basically the first 30 days is free, and it's $50 a month after that. But all I want to do is go through and break down these strategies and show people where these things apply, where the investment principles apply to their day-to-day life with their clients, and where they can start applying to themselves and their own wealth building process. And I really share this from the bottom of my heart, is that, when my dad passed as a real estate agent of 40 years and worked with some of the biggest investors here, my dad died working for one of the greediest investors ever. They gave my mom 2 middle fingers after my dad died and took all 500 properties with him. That was devastating because of the promises he made to my dad that he would retire off the sale of these things. And so now I just look at him like, look, if you are dependent on people to build your wealth through sales, you're going to be sadly retired. And until you take control of the lesson of understanding what real estate and what you're capable of and the knowledge that you have in this business and start applying it to your own life, you'll never retire through sales. You'll continue to be the guy throwing out open house signs at 65. And once you start to understand the investment and the wealth building journey, it's not over. You're connecting the dots and showing people how it's possible. And I love where I get to teach people that everything that you need to invest and start your journey is inside your people. Because I've used some hard money lenders, but majority of my lending came from teaching people how to invest their money with me.
Yeah.
It was never hard money sources. It was like, hey, Fred and Ethel have $500,000 that's getting 3%. I can show you how to my bank. This is, we're going to increase your wealth and income, and I'm going to win with you. Does that sound good? Yeah. And money, right? And when you start to build those depths of relationships, you're like, man, it's crazy that inside my community, I can text 10 people and get $500,000 in 5 minutes, right? Paperwork to come, obviously, but that's the depth of relationship and knowing what we do and how that pours into your own clients. So learning to invest obviously adds value to your clients as well and increases your business. So course correction starts March 11th. It'll be on my Instagram tomorrow. You can sign up for there. The ride's free for the first 30 days. And I really want to show them what's truly possible in this.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. What an amazing value. So for you agents listening, please take advantage of that. And thanks for letting us be one of the first to hear. That's super exciting.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you jumping on, and I'll probably in the next 6 months, 9 months, I'll be reaching out, and we're going to want to catch up on this story. So
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on today.
Great stuff, Steve.
Of course. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching that episode. And this is the start of your real estate journey. There's over 100 episodes and a bunch of playlists. And please hit subscribe before you move on to the next video.